Hello everyone, this is Tanya from Professor Tanya Speaks, and today we're going to be looking at some speech introductions which were done by some of my students. These students have been very brave and have been very cooperative and have agreed to have you watch their speeches, so be gentle. But I thought it was really brave of them. I guess they also knew the speech introductions were good anyway. So I want to show you 3 different speech introductions today, and I want you to look at how different they are. Now, one of the questions that I get a lot from students is, how can I choose a topic? And I've done a few videos about choosing topics, but I want to actually show you now what some students have done. And I want you to make note of the fact that they've chosen topics which are relevant to their lives. They haven't chosen topics which are, fanciful, but topics which are a part of their experience. And I want you to look at how conversational they are, and I want you to look at how easy their style is and how different their styles are. So let's begin with looking at Tanya, my namesake.
So picture this, it's April 12th, 2021. We have now been through an entire year of COVID-19 wreaking havoc in the world. We've been through multiple lockdowns and are just constantly bombarded with terrifying news on the daily. Now, in addition to this global pandemic, there's everyday life. I generally average about 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. I work over 50 hours per week at my job. I have 3 courses, all of which are coming to an end. I have 4 assignments that are due, and then I get to top it all off with 2 incredibly stressful final exams. My anxiety levels are in a whole other universe at this point, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate with, daily life and work and school. It's just a never-ending battle. So what am I doing about it? What do any of us really do when we're faced with a laundry list of deliverables and just the overwhelming feeling that there are not enough hours in a day to get through everything? You know how the saying goes, you have the same 24 hours in a day as Beyonce, as if that's supposed to be a motivating factor, but this Beyonce, Queen Bee, I'm sure she's got plenty of stress in her life, but Beyonce does not have to work from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. every single day, nor does she have to deal with intermediate taxation or auditing or practical writing for that matter. No, Beyonce has all the single ladies and billions of dollars. Anyways, anxiety, stress, sleepless nights, under-eye bags that are deeper than a Chanel carry-all. What can any of us really do when we're feeling overwhelmed? I mean, we've all been there. And instinctively, we all have coping mechanisms to deal with these surface situations. Now, unfortunately, these coping mechanisms, which are, for example, our fight or flight instinct, is a incredible drain on our adrenal system. So it'll help us through short term, but it is going to leave us completely wiped out at the end of the day. And quite honestly, it is not an efficient way of handling anxiety or stress at all. So given how common anxiety and stress is in our everyday life, there has to be effective methods of dealing with it, so it's not becoming overwhelming for an individual. So what I have found in my personal experience, there's 3 things really that work.
Okay, so for that one, you saw her easy conversational style. She wasn't trying to sound stuffy like she was giving a speech. She was just talking to you. So I want you to notice how she used her everyday experience, and she did all the parts for the introduction. She made her credibility known, she made it relatable, you knew where she was going. She's obviously going to talk about how to cope with stress, and she was very natural. no airs and graces. I just loved it. Now let's look at a different style and let's see what Justin did in his introduction.
July 23rd, 2017. Now for most of you, this might be an insignificant day, but for me, the events are burned into the back of my mind. So let me ask you this. Have you ever stared death in the face? Now what I mean by that isn't have you looked at death. No, because you can look at something from afar. You can see it from afar. I'm talking have you stared death in the face so close, been an inch away that you can see death staring back pure daggers through your soul. That close. Have you ever held somebody while they died? I mean, have you ever held somebody while their body physically shut itself down? I was 18 at the time. It's a normal day of work. I just graduated from high school. I got to my facility, got dressed into my uniform, and walked out through my staff room doors out onto the pool deck. Standard day. Pool was going fine, music was on, kids were enjoying themselves, and it changed when a boy who couldn't swim, couldn't speak English, decided to jump off a 3-meter high diving board because of peer pressure into a catch basin that was 4 meters deep. I could tell something was wrong almost right away. When I blew my whistle and I jumped in, and by the time I got to him, his knees were resting down onto the basin floor, which for an exact depth was 3.89 meters. And his body had entered its final fighting phase. Now this phase is amazing. The body starts spasming and shaking, and the muscles in between the ribs contract violently, not from signals from the brain, just by their own doing in the central nervous system, in order to force air in and out of their lungs. And the whole body shakes as a result. It is incredible. Until it stops. See, I've been a lifeguard for 6 years. And I have things to say about water safety and your safety in the pool. Because of my training and my education and my knowledge of how dangerous water should be and my experience with death, you should also care about what I have to say.
Now I think you'll all agree that Justin is obviously very passionate about his topic, and that's something that we really like to see. Passion. He chose something that's relevant to his life also, where he's obviously a lifeguard. He's chosen something that's very relatable to what he does for work. And you saw where he mentioned his credibility. You see how he made it relevant to the audience. And I hope you noticed how effective his pauses were, because that's something we also love to hear. Pauses. We like to hear when you pause because of the impact it has. So you'll see that he used his hands a lot, he used his body a lot, so his body language was very strong, and he drew you in and he made you curious. And once again, he could have chosen to talk about CPR or to be a lifeguard or anything relevant. And as I said in another video, if you're looking at work, then look at the different things that you do at work and see where you can find a topic. So, Justin is intense, but not everybody has that personality. Now let's look at another example, which is a bit different also.
When I was a teenager, I had a lot of colds. And I remember my mom giving me a piece of advice. And that advice was to take hot and cold showers in the morning, every morning, and preferably forever. Now, being a rebellious teenager, I remember dramatically rolling my eyes and forgetting everything right away. Fast forward, I'm 20 years old, I'm in university, and the stress of the labs, the lectures, the assignments, the exams has me plagued with colds and infections. Now, you've been a student, you know what it's like getting sick in the middle of a semester, or God forbid, during the exams. There's no time for it. It's unacceptable. It wasn't on the schedule. So this led me to doing a lot of research to figure out, how can I prevent this? How can I stop this? How can I make myself healthier? But healthier without exercise and eating healthy. Because let's be honest, as a student, there's no time for exercise. My exercise was running from one end of the campus to the other, and eating healthy, well, I drank caffeine and had instant noodles. There's not going to be a lot of health there. So eventually, my research started to leading me to some very technical things. Things to do with white blood cells and lymph fluid and lymph node and lymph vessel and lymph this, lymph stuff. But don't worry, I got to the bottom of it. So today, I'd like to talk to you about the lymphatic system. I'm going to tell you what it is, what it does, and how you can make it stronger. So, first things first. What is the lymphatic system? In easiest terms, it's your immune system. And it is actually attached to your circulatory system. You know, the one that has to do with the heart and blood vessels, but the lesser known portion of it is also the lymphatic system. It's a bunch of other lymph vessels that are a part of it. There are also other organs like the spleen and the appendix and lymph nodes, but you know what those are. You've probably been to the doctor or had your mom feel underneath your chin and you're thinking, what the heck are they doing? Well, actually, your lymph nodes can sometimes swell if you're sick, telling the doctor that your body might be fighting something. Well, okay, so the immune system is the lymphatic system, and it has all these other organs, and well, what do they all do? Well, the lymphatic system, actually, you know what? First, let's make this a little easier. Let's say the lymphatic system is actually a health highway, and on this highway travel cars, and these cars are going to be white blood cells traveling in this lymph fluid along this highway. Now, so what does this health highway do? It finds damaged, invaded, or foreign cells, and then when it reaches them, it either tells them.
So that was a third example, and as you can see, that student made you laugh. Well, she made me laugh anyway. I found it very natural also, and it says a lot about her personality. And she did all the things. She made her credibility obvious. She drew us in, so her attention grabber drew us in. And then you see where she made it relevant to you also. And then you saw how she used her visuals. So that is another example. And the aim of showing you these three students is so that you can realize that your style is your style. As long as you have all the 5 parts discussed in this video, as long as you include all the 5 parts, then do it however you're comfortable and whatever fits with your personality. You can see 3 different personalities, 3 different styles. And that's what you need to do also. Use your style and your approach, but make sure that you include all the parts of the speech that are required. So thank you for watching, guys, and I hope that made sense. And I hope that when you looked at the 3 different styles, I hope that you now have some ideas of what you can do and how you can also approach your public speaking assignment. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.